Okay. Yeah. So Shloka 2.13. देहिनो अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरा प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Translation: as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. All right. So, this shloka, this is actually summarization. So this particular shloka, which is talking about the change of the body and a milestone or phase called final stage called death. This is discussion between Arjuna and Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the instructor here, and Arjuna is the student. So Arjuna in the battlefield in the beginning he had some doubt, and because of that he was in ignorance, and because of that the doubt came, and Krishna was removing this doubt, and so we have this Bhagavad Gita here. So um, Dehino Asmin Yatha Dehe. So here we'll take what Sri His Grace Chetan Charan Prabhu has mentioned, given this detail on the shloka. Inside the body is the owner of the body. Although the body is changing, the owner, that is the person inside the body, remains unchanging. And Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, boyhood, youth, and old age are the stages or phases or changes which the body goes through. But Dehe, Dehe, um, uh, but Dehe, the person, the soul, which who situated inside this body, remains unchanging. Now, Tatha Dehantara Prapti. Similarly, when the body dies, at that time the person achieves or gets another body. That is, the soul is transferred to another body. So, Dhira Tatra na Muhyati. A wise, sober person does not get bewildered or deluded. Um, uh, Prabhu, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he mentions that here Srila Prabhupada has translated Dhira as a sober person. Sober word is used in the context of um, like somebody who's alcoholic or who has been consuming alcohol. Either that person is not affected or he has given up alcohol. That is, if person gives up alcohol, we say that the person has become a sober person. Or if he consumes and he is not affected, um, he's not affected by the intoxication. So usually we would use this word when somebody uh, stops taking that intoxication, or particularly alcohol. So dhiras tatrana muhyati. So the bodily conception is like intoxication. That is the illusory effect of material nature. It's intoxicating. It conditions us. Um, and under the influence of that intoxication, under the illusory effect of that material nature, um, to free oneself from this intoxication, becoming free from this intoxication is the goal of life. And this goal of life, to be free from this bodily conception, is promoted or achieved by practice of devotional service. So this was the analogy, the comparison between two, the effect of intoxication, and to be free from this effect of this intoxication is the goal of life, and that is to be free from this bodily conception, which is compared to the intoxication concept. Like this bodily conception is like intoxication, and to be free from this bodily conception, which is intoxicating. Um, the goal of life is promoted is it this is promoted by or achieved by practice of devotional service. Now Prabhu says that this Bhagavad Gita doesn't give us all the messages at once. Like it doesn't. Um, so it's like we have to go through certain phases, of phases, or we go through the entire shlokas, all the shlokas, and we realize every time we hear or read some shloka and understand its purport, we realize slowly we progress, or gradually we progress. And so it's like it builds up the message. So it's like a building block. We read shlokas and we realize it, and then we further read it. That what we have read adds to what we are reading now, and so on like that. So here, devotional service is not mentioned directly, like in this case, in particular shloka here, by this. Um, it is 2.13. So it is mentioned to become dhira, which is what we said was like sober person. Such things, then such things will not trouble an intelligent person. The indirect meaning here is if somebody is troubled by this, then that person needs to become intelligent. Then the trouble will not be there anymore. So it's like we have to have that knowledge, we have to have that intelligence. Then we will not be in ignorance because of that knowledge, because of intelligence. And then because that ignorance is removed, or intelligence prevails, or knowledge prevails, we will not be um, troubled by it anymore. So Krishna is giving instructions here indirectly. For example, so indirectly again, like we said, it doesn't tell us directly that by this time, by this shloka, that we need this is bhakti or devotional service. Um, so, for example, when we see a boy, Prabhu gives an example. So, generally, in worldly sense, when we talk, we see somebody, we say, for example, we say, when we see a boy after some time, or we see somebody, we say that, hey, you have grown up so much, like you're a grown up person. So, this means that earlier in the past, this person was small, and now in the present, when we are meeting this person, he is big and grown up. So there is this changing dimension. So there is this unchanging dimension that is addressed by when we address you to that person. And there is a changing dimension which is addressed when we say you were like that, and now you are like this. You were small, and now you're big. You were young, and you're grown up now. So like that. So Prabhu says that there we have these two dimensions: changing dimension and unchanging dimension. Um, so um, So this is how it is. So sometimes Prabhu gives another example. Sometimes people, they have this. They want to look younger, and they go for this facelift. And or similarly, another example is like people who are overweight and they want to appear slim. They want to lose weight, so they might undergo some treatment for that, and on the success of that they will feel slim, or they look younger, etc. So but behind the scene, whatever they do as individuals, they remain the same person from inside. So when we say that, we mean that the outward appearance, the body looks young, old, and that changes from what it was earlier. People feeling fat and then losing weight, they look slim, and people going for these um, when somebody's aging and they want to look young, so they go for this face treatment or facelift, etc. So if on the success of that they feel different, but that is outward experience. But the individual inside, that person remains the same. So this means that that person inside, so even after the success of that bodily change, what they went for, the treatment, after that, the person inside remains the same, although the outward appearance changes. So somebody will say, no, I have not changed. I'm still the same person. Um, so the I, which is here, the individual person, that person remains the same. But something changes, that is the outward appearance. And what remains same is the person inside that body. So that is how it is. Um, so here Krishna is saying, don't get what Lord Krishna is trying to emphasize is, don't be affected or don't be bothered or by the change which is happening. Whatever change has happened within this life, the same change will happen in the next life also. After taking the material body, whether this life, next life, or all the lives we have lived, that change will continue to happen to that body. So don't be affected by that change, outward change. So in all the changes, when we say after taking this material body, there is this element, there is this thing, there is this person inside the body that continues to remain the same. So Prabhu says that the question that arises here is that what causes this continuity that persists despite the change? So so that I, the user, in all the previous three examples, that person, that I remains the same. But the parts, that is the outward appearance, the body changes gradually or suddenly. But that doesn't make much difference to this I, this person inside, the user. That person remains the same. So Dehi, although the soul, which is situated or encapsulated in the physical body, the gross body, the material body, that Dehi, the soul, that person, the I, that doesn't change. Um, so in the previous verse, Prabhu says that in the previous verse, Krishna mentioned that everyone will remain same. So how is this everyone will remain same? Because this is the battlefield, and if the battle happens, the fight happens, definitely there will be on both the parties, Kaurava and Pandavas, on both the parties, people will leave the body, they will die on the battlefield. So how is that Lord Krishna is saying that everyone will remain same? So how is this possible? And the answer to this, Prabhu says, is that something within the body which will stay alive, that that something inside the body, that I, that individual, that person will stay alive. That thing, that soul never dies. So although the body will change, we should not be affected by these bodily changes, um, as the dehi, that person inside remains the same. Now, now we know that we are not disturbed by the changing of the body from boy to adulthood. Some uh, so sometimes we feel good seeing that um, a young person has changed, has gone through these individual phases from boy to adulthood, and we are not disturbed by that change. So we should not be worried too much when the soul leaves an old body and takes up new body. So now, Prabhupada gives an example here, like um, so Prabhupada says that this wise man, the Sanskrit word used here is dhira. Dhira means that one who is undisturbed in mind. And our disturbance of the mind is due to our ignorance. So Prabhupada gives example from his life. So he says that, like for example, when he traveled from India to US and particularly to New York, when he traveled for the first time, um, he was dispatched. He says that I was to be dispatched to Butler by the bus station. So when he was commuting by bus, but I was a new man. Prabhupada says that he was a new man to this city, to this country, and to this city, and I did not know the rules and regulations as such, taking bus, boarding bus, how, where to take ticket, and etc. And all those things, what station next, and all that, all those nitty gritty details. And so somebody was guiding Shilopad. He was taking help. So in spite of all that, I was very much in disturbed condition. Prabhupada says that how to get on this bus, how to get this ticket, and so many things. So disturbance of the mind is due to our ignorance because he was exposed to this new city, this new country, this new city, this new environment where he was not familiar, where he had no experience of those things, he had no knowledge of that particular thing, that place. Um, so taking tickets and etc., boarding bus and all those things, which like we know that um, in different countries, different rules to follow and etiquettes and mannerism and what to expect. So this we should carefully note that our mind in the material world is always disturbed, and this is due to our unfavorable condition. And how so? Because how is this unfavorable condition? Because in reality, we are actually spirit, soul, and identity. Earlier we mentioned the I, that identity, our identity, that is, we are spirit, soul. Now, and we have been put in this material condition now. We have taken this spirit, soul has taken this material body. And thus, now our I, identity, is adulterated or condition. Now it's in material condition, and we are now realizing to be we believe that to be this body to be, um, in many cases in extreme ignorance, people say that to enjoy sense gratification is the goal of their life. So bodily sense gratification. So that is the very high level of ignorance. But in spite of realizing that we are spirit, soul, and we have taken this body, um, still this material conditioning of this body seeps in our thinking, our identity, our ego. So so we tend to feel that we are, in spite of all that, we are not able to realize that we are complete spirit, soul, and this is just a body. This is, we have taken a material body, and because of this, the unfavorable condition is created. Because, and then mind is disturbed because of the ignorance it creates, because of the lack of knowledge, not being in perfect knowledge all the time. So this disturbs the mind. Uh, another example Prabhupada gives is that, so when traveling, for example, we are not disturbed in the land as we are disturbed in the ocean, because we know that our position in the ocean is not our natural condition. So for aquatic animals, ocean or water is their natural condition in this material world after taking the material body. Whereas for humans, to be in the ocean is not our natural condition. Land is. So some feel very disturbed in that case. So this disturbance is due to our unnatural condition. Otherwise, there is no question of disturbance. The whole disturbance of the mind. It is, Prabhupada gives an example of Srimad Bhagavatam, the shloka. It is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Tat sadhu manye asura varya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyam asatraha hitvatma patam graham andakupam manam gato yad dharim ashriyeta. Srimad Bhagavatam 7, chapter 5, 7th canto, 5th chapter, 5th shloka. Here, Prahlad Maharaja replied to his father Hiranyakashipu, "O best of the asuras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from a spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is suddenly embarrassed by anxiety, that is the disturbance, because of having fallen in a dark well, that is this material world, where there is no water but only suffering. One should give up this position, this material condition, and go to the forest, Vana. And more clearly, one should go to Vrindavana. Why? Where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent. That is spiritual, our perfect consciousness, our, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is our actual position. Um, that is what we are. We are spirit soul, and we are eternally servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Lord Shri Krishna. Another thing Prabhupada says here is that he compares this Shruti, the Vedas. Similarly, as the mother is authority for the child, similarly the Shruti, the Vedas, they are called mother, mother of knowledge. So for such spiritual knowledge, we have to accept the authority. And here in this case, it is Bhagavad Gita is the authority. It has to be accepted. So Prabhupada emphasizes that we should not think that this is just limited to Hindus or this is the scripture of the Hindus. It is for all human beings, and this is the spiritual science, and this is the spiritual philosophy. It is not dogmatic, and it is to be understood simply. Um, and Prabhupada says that now, today, it is accepted by all countries, uh, and it is accepted. Bhagavad Gita is accepted as one of the greatest book of authority, and it was directly spoken by Bhagwan, Lord Shri Krishna himself, in the battlefield to Arjuna, the surrendered soul. So this is the process, and as the soul within the body, and the body is changing every moment. Similarly, the last stage of change is called death. So this body, although is changing, the soul within the body is not changing. But in material condition, soul being within the body and taking this material body, and the body is material and it's changing, and under the effect of this illusory material energy, one tends to realize that body is whole and soul. So that is the illusion, that is the ignorance. So the last stage of change is called death. That is nothing but the final change of the present body. That's all. And our death condition is for 7 months only. And as soon as the soul leaves this body, at once the soul is injected into another other mother's body according to his or her karma. It can be the soul can take the womb of a queen, or soul can take the womb of an ordinary human being or any other species, and that is all due to one's karma. The father is there, it can be king or it can be a devata. For a soul can go to higher planetary system if it's practice piety or pious soul, and or go to hellish condition if it is a very impious soul, asuric soul. Which kind of family, father or mother, one takes shelter of, it depends on one's karma, one's desires, and so all these has to be accepted from the authoritative scriptures like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and then it is possible for us to understand the things as they are. There is no question of these is or that is. It is question of pure knowledge, and pure knowledge, as we said, mind is disturbed because of material condition, because of lack of knowledge, and so here we should take pure knowledge from these scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and we should have a spiritual master guru. All scriptures say that, claim that. Now, if you remember that in the very beginning or every day, we say these prayers, right? Um, in the very beginning, we say the Guru, Shri Guru Pranama. Om Jnanativinanda se Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the torch of knowledge. So, in the very first prayer we mentioned was this: we have we I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master. So, a spiritual master, a guru, a bona fide guru from a bona fide parampara, is very essential. Uh, it is otherwise it is very difficult to get perfect knowledge or spiritual knowledge. We get spiritual mercy from Guru, and because of this, he opens our eyes, which were otherwise blinded by the darkness of ignorance in this material world, and and then because of the darkness of ignorance, we said mind doesn't have mind is exposed to its material condition, and there is this ignorance and lack of knowledge. There is ignorance, and but here the Guru, he opens our eyes and removes this darkness of ignorance with the torch light of knowledge. Because Guru is a self-realized soul, he is well versed. He has realized the spiritual truth, and is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uh, so he, by his life, is an example in that he is serving he's servitor of Godhead. He's serving how to serve um, the Lord. He is teaching us by his life, by his example, and by his realizations. So that is why Guru is very important, as mentioned in all the scriptures. So one should not hesitate in taking the Guru, and one should refer to these perfect scriptures, which are not material, which are all eternal and spiritual. And here, Bhagavad Gita is directly spoken by Lord Himself. What more proof do we need? So, so thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. In case if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for making us aware that we are in an intoxicated state. We need to come out of this intoxication. Thank you so much,
Yes.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. So,
Prabhuji,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Dandat Pranam, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
That would Pranam, everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Hare Bol.